We're going to head down into our semifinals match here. We've got Jund Cat versus Red Black Aggro. The winner of this event will be playing against, winner of this round will be playing against Jund. My words are just mush. They're all done. We've been streaming Sultai Ramp in the finals. So let's take a peekaboo here.
Both these hands don't look very good.
Neither of these hands look great. The Jund player does not have lands. The Red Black player does not have a curve. Speaking of curves.
It's a good curve. Not a good curve.
Really awkward hand on the Jund side again here, so. Okay,
I
are a
admire
believer.
Cricket's dedication to this Embercleave. I feel like they just think that's... And I think it's probably
really good. Embercleave is very important in the cat matchup. And to be fair, let's say Cricket doesn't draw any more spells this game. They could very easily go Knight on 1, Mire Triton on 2, activate Knight on 3, then Cleave on 4. So this hand curves 1 to 4.
Yep. Gilded Goose over here being just a massive brick wall, cannot be attacked through.
We see Charizard's boldness paying off here. We hit our land. We've got a Bone Crusher Giant to stop the Snight of the Ebon Legion, which is going to make this Embercleave much, much worse.
Yep.
So if you're Cricket, you're really hoping to draw a 3-drop. That's the best draw in your deck.
Oh, see, that's why they discarded the Phoenix, because they knew the second Phoenix was right on top, ready to battle.
Ready to go. And now if you're Charizard, again, deck lists are heads up. You know Embercleave could be looming, so now you have to decide, do you want to develop your Priest? Do you want to collect a company? Or do you want to stomp something? Looking like we're going to company?
Probably want a company. I feel like company is usually the best thing to do first. But there is value to try and getting down the Priest, right? Because Priest of the Forgotten Gods is on a turn cycle before it does anything, right? The turn you play it, it just kind of sits there.
A lot of choices. We see Cat worth getting here because there is an oven.
Already an oven, yep.
And now these can block. It'll be interesting to see where Embercleave goes, since Mire Triton's going to get blocked here. Now, the upside to Mire Triton is you get to keep your second creature, but it does die to stomp.
It does, but I think that if you make them stomp to Triton, then you can move it onto the Phoenix.
Phoenix hits for 6 this turn, and next turn would be lethal.
I do like being lethal.
Because the Phoenix... Well, the Phoenix can pump next turn, because the next turn it would be attacking for 10. So it hits for 6 and then 10.
Yes.
Okay, and we're committing here. We're committing here on Cricket's side.
Because Charizard didn't play the Priest this turn, they don't have the ability to force a sacrifice next turn.
Yep, correct.
And the turn cycle is going to probably be too slow.
And Charizard has their claims in the sideboard, right? Yeah, they're all 4 claims are in the sideboard, so there's not going to be any surprise hasty Priest of the Forgotten Gods.
So the claims that a lot of players who play main deck have been replaced in Charizard's list with these Witch's Ovens. And the Witch's Oven is looking definitely worse in this specific game.
Yep, against Embercleave for sure. And we saw, Cricket in their mulligan again, making decisions. Just open deck list is just an incredible, valuable tool for players that are good at Magic. Being able to identify, okay, they're a cat oven deck. That means Embercleave's really important. We're going to keep my Embercleave and mulligan a threat.
Yep. Also, with the Embercleave, you have much more things that you could put an Embercleave on than Embercleaves in your deck.
Correct.
Right. So if you say I want one of each of these things, but I have 20 options, I'm 20 of one, and I don't know, but they have 3 Embercleaves, I think.
Correct. Yep. 3.
So definitely makes sense. It's so awkward here. I think you almost have to play the Priest and hope they don't see it.
Yep. And you don't get to hear not seeing it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been in people have been playing for a long time. I've definitely played Magic for long enough that I have not seen things that were very obvious when it gets late in the day.
Yep. And to be fair, this day's been shorter than most.
It has been short. It's only been about 6 hours since they started.
As something of a paper boomer, this tournament is incredibly fast.
This would be like going into round 6.
No, are you
You're like
kidding me?
just
Round 5 would be calling time right now as we played our 10th round of the day.
two blue white control players in the 2-1 and 2 bracket battling out for dominance.
I think one of my fondest tournament memories was a standard open during RTR standard, and one of my buddies playing Sphinx's Revelation Elixir Control drew his way out of the draw bracket. He was 2, 1, and 3, which means you have the same match points as someone who's X and 2, so he started getting paired back into X and 2s. All right, as we head to sideboard here, I think, a Braid does a lot against Cat Oven. Like, that's a card that kills their Mayhem Devils. It's a card that kills the Ovens, kills Priest.
Yep. They're bringing in Ashiok.
I was just going to say, I like that we cut Rotting Regisaur, because that's really bad against Cat if you don't have exactly Cleave, and anything's good against Cat if you have Cleave. I love Rampaging Ferocodon because it makes their cats bad. I think Ashiok is quite poor in this matchup. If I was on Cricket's side, I would probably cut these Ashioks and bring in Heartless Axe, I think would be my submit.
Yeah, keeping the Ashioks makes me think that Cricket has decided that it doesn't actually matter what the Ashiok does to my opponent. It's so powerful in my strategy.
Sure.
That it makes me think that they've decided they should have been main decking the 4 Ashioks to start.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think that seems unreasonable. Ashiok's definitely and again, that's why it's so good in this Rakdos aggro deck, is because even when it's not meaningful graveyard hate, it still has a text box. Mm-hmm. So, Phoenix and Kroxa are reasonable here. I guess I don't hate leaving them in. I just feel like, especially on the draw, I want as much removal as possible in this matchup, but I haven't played a ton of it either. And I definitely haven't played against this Witch's Oven variation, because even when I was playing Rakdos aggro on the ladder, people were mostly playing the build that had cut Oven at this point.
Yeah, and I think we've definitely seen that the changes that Charizard made have paid them dividends in another place in this tournament. Yep. I think it's really shows that if you come into a tournament with a more advanced view of what the meta is, you can definitely be rewarded for that.
Yep.
All right, so I think
I'm actually really surprised by that mulligan on. I guess they just wanted a removal spell.
I guess so. This hand's worse.
Yeah, both the 5 and 6 were not great for Cricket here.
Dragon Skull Summit, you're trying so hard.
Black Cleave Cliffs win. And that's just like peak Magic right there. Just like, all right, kind of need to draw a 3rd land or an untapped land. 6 mana spell.
Yeah, Charizard's hand's a little awkward too, because they have to fetch the Forest on 1. Which means they can't. Yes, they can. Okay, never mind. Their hand is perfect, and I never should have doubted it. I guess I could have just cast a Scavenging Ooze on 2.
Yeah, I think I like casting Scooze on 2. You just go Swamp Scooze, call it a day.
Put your bear on the battlefield.
Grizzly bear. And actually, so again, talking about deck list being heads up and knowing what Charizard is doing, the fact that Charizard is on Scavenging Ooze, I think means it's even more meaningful to cut Ashiok from your deck post-board, because it's harder to get value with Ashiok when they're on something like Scooze.
Possibly. It could also be the other way around, that the only way I'm going to get to use any of my graveyard cards is if I overload the Scooze on targets.
Yeah, it's just tough, because it's not like you're getting them to fire off a Surgical Extraction or pop a Tormod script. If you're overloading a Scooze, it's eating a lot and it's going to kill you.
Right. You the Scooze, overloading the Scooze just makes a big Scooze, mm-hmm. Which is good against
aggro. Yep.
Yeah.
So electing to take the Woeshrider as opposed to the Abrade here.
And they can't even cast the Knight because it's another
Dragon Skull Summit. Yep.
Woo!
Temple of Tilt.
Love a good temple. All right. Are you ready for Colossopede? Jengatha, the Wellspring coming in.
Colossopede. Is that just a vanilla 5/5 for 5?
I think that's what I hear people call it. I'm a Magic baby, so I don't actually know what that card does, and I wish you hadn't called me out on it, but it's fine.
How do you spell Colossopede? C-O-L.
No idea.
I was gonna put it up on screen, but I can't spell that.
Oh no! All right. One sec. Colossopede. WTG. All right. I spelled it too poorly for Google to understand, so I guess we'll just never know.
Chat's got us.
Shout out to lots of people. Oh, yeah.
Cockatrace claims this card doesn't exist.
Well,
I don't know what set that's from, but it must not be in what I have checked off. My card lookup tool says Colossopede doesn't exist.
It is Pioneer legal. It's in Amonkhet.
Is it really? That's funny.
Yeah. It's a 5/5. It's been in a lot of sets. Actually, only an Amonkhet. It is an Amonkhet only card.
I would just like to reflect that my card lookup tool has never failed to find something playable.
Well, Colossopede is there in the hand. You can see it.
Okay, sorry. While we were talking about Colossopedes, players took game actions here, and it looks like things are slipping away from our...
The player who is very far behind is still very far behind and does not seem to have cards in their hand to stop being behind Magic.
And just to toot my own horn for a little bit here, imagine if this Ashiok trapped in Cricket's hand was a Heartless Act in this situation, right? Like, I don't know that we necessarily win the game, but I think we're in less of a bad spot, right? We get to, like, pick this thing off the board, and then we have a Phoenix and Embercleave left over, and, like, maybe we get back in.
I agree. I think this isn't even that bad for Cricket, though, just because they, being the aggressive deck, there's a lot of win game one, lose the post-board game on the draw, and then just try to rally on the play. So if you're gonna have a game where you get pretty unlucky and you have to mulligan to 5, like, would much rather it be this game.
If you're gonna pick your mulligan to 5 double Dragon Skull Summit game, it's this one.
It is, yeah. Oh no, they're not playing the Colossopede. I was all ready. They're just gonna play this better card.
Oh, chat spelled Colossopede wrong. That's what it was. Chat put two L's in Colossopede.
Wow.
I was doubting my card lookup tool. Here's a Colossopede.
I guess they must have done it correctly also, because I found it, which basically proves the truism of chat, that they are always right and wrong at the same time.
We see our players reassessing their sideboards here, perhaps.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see click submits on both sides. Both these players kind of know what they're doing. Deep into the tournament.
I don't think there's any, I think the both players are the same role regardless of if you're on the play or the draw. I don't think this Jund deck is going to be beating down even on the, or I don't think the Raptor deck is going to be beaten down anymore on the draw.
Yep. One of the things that's interesting, the Jund player cut one of their Priests to the Forgotten Gods, which to me always feels like one of your best cards against creature matchups, but...
Yeah, especially because this deck doesn't have... It's not like the other Rakdos deck, right, that had Young Pyromancer and Citrus Supplier. Like, most of these creatures are just real cards. But, I mean, here it is, so it's
I'm
fine.
not a huge fan of these keeps from either player, I don't think. The red-black player is missing their second black source, so Ashiok's not currently castable. I guess the top keep's probably defensible. You've got Cats and a Priest is pretty good here.
Yeah, so I think Cat is one of your better cards in this matchup. So I like the Jund keep.
One of the tough part about the hand from Cricket on the bottom is that their hand needs to draw spells to win this game, but they also need a second black source, so their hand needs both lands and spells.
Yeah, don't love that for sure.
Okay.
Do love Mayhem Devil.
That's Swamp. It's Meyer Triton here, skillfully milling over 2 spells that would have bricked off, and then drawing us the swamp.
That's just good deck building.
It is. It's just, sweet. And then we milled 4 lands we no longer want to draw. Love it. Everything's coming up, Millhouse.
All right, so what do we got here? Whenever I look at a hand like this, I always think I should be able to do one stuff with Mayhem Devil, but I don't think they actually can.
Yeah. I think we see that. We're going to probably see a tapped Blood Crypt here, and then they're going to wait a turn, I would imagine. Maybe attack. We're going to attack the cat into the Ashiok here is the easy attack.
I think if I'm not doing anything else, I want to play the tower over the Blood Crypt because I want to be able to sack something with the tower and also use the Fable Passage.
Okay, sure.
Maybe
and
can't do anyway.
And putting the tower into play means you get to counter a Bone Crusher Giant on your priest.
Yeah. Let's put in a thought of that.
This is aggressive. Okay. So this lets them cast Mayhem Devil this turn?
It does let them cast Mayhem Devil this turn. Which is a good card. And
yes, so you're kind of like, the problem with this is your cats are gone now, right? Because there's an Ashiok?
Yeah. That is super awkward.
And like normally we were talking about how, Ashiok's not that good against cat, but like when there's not an oven in play and we get an opportunity like this, if this Ashiok flips over a Croxa here, we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's definitely a chance for Cricket to come out of this game pretty hard right now. Milled 4 cards that don't matter. They get to Thoughtseize and take probably the Mayhem Devil. And then they get to cast this Croxa to reanimate next turn. So they're in a pretty good spot, I think.
Yep. Small sequencing thing that I don't think matters, but usually you want to sequence your Croxa before your Thoughtseize because you want them to choose what they're discarding to Croxa, not knowing you're going to take their best spell away.
Agreed, so but also there's no way they're discarding the Mayhem Devil.
Correct.
That would be...
But like, maybe there's a world where they discard it. Probably. It's probably just land that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So Ashiok is going down here next turn with Mayhem Devil attacking, but we've got Croxa in the bin now with a number of cards, so hopefully that's gonna be enough here. If you're on Cricket side, you're hoping to fade Claim the Firstborn at this point.
Yeah, how many cards are actually in the bin right now?
Enough.
For a second.
There's two Ashiok triggers, Thoughtseize, and
okay, so yeah,
a Meyer. There's at least 2 Croxa escapes because there was a Meyer Triton and a Meyer Triton trigger in there too, so that should be like 12 or so.
It's fairly reasonable that Priest will probably kill the Croxa the first time.
Sure. Yeah, the second and that's why Ashiok's so powerful, right? Like basically every Ashiok down tick you get essentially gives you another Croxa escape.
Right, as well as drawing you to the Croxas.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
If you don't draw them naturally.
Little unfortunate here on Cricket's part. Their Croxa was literally the next card, so if Ashiok had hit one deeper last turn, they would have had Croxa in play already.
For sure.
So I assume we're gonna see. I guess we discarded Braid, huh? Because you need the Mountain to cast your Colossopede.
Yeah, and I mean the Braid isn't really doing anything on this. All right, disagree. I don't know what the plan is here. Like,
it almost feels like the game.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was going to be rough regardless. But I think because now they're going to lose 2 cards.
But did we just not? I'd block there. I think, right? Because like you know about the Abrade, but like I think that's a good exchange for you, right? Like they trade the Abrade and the Devil, then their Priest is useless, and then you get to re-escape Croxa next turn, just like no problem.
Yeah, well, I mean you can do that anyway if you draw Swamp, because you can go Croxa from hand, Croxa from bin, and attack, which is their whole hand. And they can't double Abrade you because they don't have another Mountain. You know they don't have another Mountain.
You don't know about the other Abrade, right? Yeah. The heads up is the Abrade and the Wellspring.
But
I feel like I'm inclined to take the trade there. I don't know that it's gonna matter. We'll find out though. Like I just feel like the way you lose this game is like priest activations.
Yeah, so like now my question is, are they gonna? Yeah, I guess they're gonna try to get the Colossipede and disincentivize the attack this way.
Hey, I don't know if I love this attack.
Well, yeah, because now, I mean, they've got you're basically putting yourself dead or almost dead to
Well, I guess
move a
you
spell on this night, right?
I guess you do this and you keep the Crocs that you have in play and you empty their hand. And then you play Knight as a chump blocker.
Yep. But like,
Oh, this is actually really cute. Because they have the other Croxa in play, the Mayhem Devil trigger doesn't happen.
oh, because it's the legend rule, sure.
Because you get legend ruled, which isn't technically sack. I was like, where'd the Mayhem Devil trigger
Oh my god.
go?
Okay, so if Knight doesn't block, this game's over.
I think you have to block on Knight's side because you have the Ramonap runes in play. But yeah, that's the 9th point of and you're dead to not blocking his heads up on board because of
because the tower, right.
Yep. So you have to chump here.
So what do you do? Because now if you attack both, you're dead.
Technically not dead on the backswing to an attack. You take you leave the oven in hand. You go to 4, and then like they re-escape the other Croxa. You go to 1.
Or wait a second. So we have a witch's oven that can make 2 food off of Jengatha, and the food can gain life.
Sure. Does that fit in? Yeah. That's actually is that the line? Then you lose your 5/5. These red-black matches have a lot of permutations.
There's a lot of
and like there's a Ramonap runes like in Cricket's mana base here too that like has to factor into decisions that Charizard makes.
Yeah, so the Ramonap runes is 11 damage.
We beat 11
damage with Witch's Oven Sack Food. And they have lethal on the crackback.
It's 12 with Croxa trigger, take 6, escape Croxa.
Right.
Oh, but you're going to 13. Okay, yeah, got it.
13 to beat food. And we're putting them to 4.
Oh, Thoughtseize, you are not good on turn 8. Oh, Thoughtseize. All right, so you force them to make a food, right? You force them to eat their 5/5.
Yes, I think that would attack because because basically it's vigilance, right? Because the bringing it back is free.
Yep. And you're like just hoping to fade claim on Cricket's side of the board.
I think it's more than claim because of the stack trick, because the stack triggers in the food.
Oh. Yeah, you're right. No.
Because this is putting you to 4. You still have a food on board. You still have a Phyrexian tower.
Little bit of lag. So player ate the wellspring, sacked the wellspring there. Attacked the one of the
definitely want the blocker here.
See plenty of cards in the bin for our red-black aggro player. So this will put Croxa out. Croxa is going to put them to 1. We'll keep the untapped Croxa.
I'm pretty sure Cat is lethal.
Oh. Yeah, Cat's definitely lethal. Claim's lethal, Cat's lethal. Big drop.
Second Mayhem Devil is, I don't know.
How's Blood Crypt? What do you think about?
Blood Crypt is not lethal, unfortunately.
Okay. And speaking of lands that are lethal, there's a Ramonap runes on Cricket's side, so they do have a lethal land.
Because they can do that before attacks. And then, is it?
Yeah,
because you sack both foods.
Oh, they sack 2 foods. That's funny.
Right.
No, because you could do it before.
No, because you sack the first food in response to the Ramonap ruins.
Yeah, but you do it before blocks. So like you make them get the other food before blocks. So they're going to sack 1 food and go to 4, and then the trigger is going to put them back down to 1, and then before they get to.
I think there's a timing window. Oh yeah. Snapping this off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Charizard's just dead, and was like
Yeah.
trying to make Cricket
I
overthink
think
it.
I think maybe the play is defend and then hope Cricket plays the ruins at the wrong time. But I think you're right that
Yeah.
um, they have full information. Oh yeah, Ramunap is a sack as well, but I don't think that matters because they only could get him to 2.
Yep.
Yep. And then this is just lethal with the crow. That was a tight game.
It was. That was great. You love to see it. It looks like red black aggro here will be our deck meeting Sultai Ramp in the finals. So don't go anywhere. I'm gonna post a hype tweet for the finals. I'm gonna show the Cool Stuff Inc. ad really quick. Shout out to them for sponsoring our whole day. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes, chat. I promise. BRB.
Today only, Cool Stuff Inc. is offering viewers